Last night, Sylvia's sleep was thick with a dream of clarity. She stood high upon a hill overlooking the Aegean. The silvered olive trees whispered in the cool moonlight, and the land stretched wide and still, a timeless witness to all that had come before. In this quiet expanse, from the shadows, two figures emerged. Brianna came first, proud and composed, stood with a shield in one hand and a trident in the other, catching the moon's light like a shard of the night itself. She was made of marble, her presence as solid as unshakable, and the coolness of her stone as unmovable as the empires that have sought to shape her. Her shield, polished and unyielding, reflected the world with a steady gaze, as though daring the very elements to challenge her. Then came Thalia, ancient as the earth itself. Her form, molded from clay, bore the texture of the earth itself, soft yet enduring, cracked in places as though time itself had left its mark. She sat with the weight of centuries carved into her posture with dignity, seated with a quiet force that seemed to echo the very soil beneath her. Her presence, both commanding and filled with an undeniable pain, rooted her in the weight of time and memory. They stood before each other, bound by an ancient understanding, and they began to speak. You arrived in armor. You left in chains. Why did they sculpt you like that?
Because empires always sculpt their stories. They wanted me strong when I obeyed, and weak when I resisted.
They did not sculpt me at all. Not properly, not with a name even. I am seated, solid, silent. Yet they say nothing of who I was. They saw the swell of my hips, the weight of my breasts, and called me mother. They called me fertile, not knowing that to bring life is to hold death at bay, to bleed without breaking, to command both soil and soul. They placed leopards at my sides, but did not dare name me queen. They shaped me for worship, yet forgot my story. I remained still, the silence louder than their words, yet they say nothing of who I was.
That silence is louder than any anthem. You were too ancient to brand, too full of stories to be reduced.
A girl came here. She stood in front of me for a long time. I felt her tremble. She carries both of us in her bones.
She has sung my songs, worn my mask, firm voice, quick steps. But her voice cracks when it bends too far from itself.
She tried to sit like me, still and small, to please, to survive tradition. But her spirit is restless. She is neither throne nor battlefield. She is the threshold.
Yes, she's the space between us.
Will she name me?
She already has. She called you Thalia, earthborn, ancient breath, the one who remembers.
Whose name rises with mine, reborn, and unchanged with you?
Sefi, the voice that returns.
The dreamscape shifts. Marble and clay soften to cloud. The seated goddess and the veiled warrior stand side by side now, watching Sefi. I spent years torn between you, trying to be silent and solid like you, Thalia, trying to be sharp and fluent like you, Brianna, and still I felt unmade. That's because you were not meant to choose between us. You are the thread.
You translate us, not word for word, but breath for breath.
Sometimes I wish I had one clear route, one home, one story. It would be much easier. No one has one route, one story. And roots do not only grow downward. Some twist through ruins, some split rocks to find water.
And stories with only one version, they are rarely true or kind.
You were born where songs rise from dust, where stories are passed through breath, not pressed into pages or sealed with ink. And you still wrote. You remembered me without being told my name.
You crossed seas, wore masks, gave speeches. You shaped every word with precision. But it was in breaking the rhythm that you found your tone.
So who am I now? You are the chorus, and the echo, the cracked note that still soars, the girl who sang under moonlight and returned to listen to what was forgotten and what had always lived in her bones. Thanks for listening.